All right, recording is now in progress. And welcome on behalf of DIIT to another Faith Friday. Super stoked to be here along with my colleagues. I'm Laura Ogando. I serve as the program manager for digital literacy and inclusion, and also now for the Manhattan Borough Technology Office. I think that title's still being worked out. We'll get it to you, but I'm going to pass it over to Lisa to welcome herself.
Yes, welcome everyone. Thanks for spending the end of your year with us. This is a session that we're really excited about, as Laura shared, and I hope you get to learn and take away a whole bunch when you're done with today's session. So thanks a lot, and I'll turn it over to Christina.
Thanks, Lisa. Hi, everyone. Christina Basias. Y'all know me. Happy holidays. Hope y'all have a happy new year. Excited for today's Face Friday Ed Tech program. Passing it back to Laura.
Thank you. And I always got to shout out Latiqua because she's just handling it on the back end. Again, she handles all of the link dropping, all of the data stuff, like, in terms of keeping track of attendance, making sure you guys get credit, like that is all Latiqua. And it's so important. So thank you for always holding it down on the back end and making sure we all get the resources we need. And I want to just quickly shout out Derry. Derry, I want you to say hi to folks because you're also a really key piece of why this is such a magical experience.
Thank you so much. Happy Friday, everyone. It's the end of the year. We're celebrating. This is a time of celebration, reflection. So happy Friday. Thank you so much to our wonderful Friday team. Come on, we've been leveling up our skills for 2 years, and I just want to say, with the holiday season, is I'm grateful and thankful for this partnership that we have with our colleagues at the IIT. We call ourselves the Friday team. So thank you so much. So in the chat, let's give everyone some love. I see Tali's here. Oh my gosh. And I'm looking forward to our presentation with Microsoft. Come on. This is all about making sure that we don't leave any families left behind, especially online. We can use translation tools like Microsoft. All right, so I'm turning it back over to you, Laura, and happy Friday, everyone.
Thank you. So actually, this is a perfect transition because Tali is here. And I'm super excited because she's gonna just give us a quick little like 2-second sneak peek because she's here in January, like for real.
Okay, first of all, I love this slide. This is hilarious. I'm so happy to be here and to see you all. I was side chatting, Derry, I miss you. It's great to see you. And I just have to share really quickly. Laura's like, hey, can you pop in for a minute? I was like, are you kidding? This is my favorite group. So I'm so excited to see you all just for a minute now and to be back in January. So I'm actually going to pop in the chat, and I don't know, Laura, if you can screen share, but we have new family tech planners. If we show that link, I'm really excited. I think I've shared with you all before our family and media agreements. These are updated. You can see on your screen, we've got them broken into ages 2 to 8, 9 to 12, 13 plus. They're available right now in English and Spanish. Come spring, they're going to be available in 15 languages. So excited, I'm choking on it. But if we even go ahead and open up, do you mind clicking on the 2 to 8 really quickly?
Sure.
I think this is a great resource that you can share with your families before the break. You can see at the top, you've got the child's name. I know it's a little bit small, but please, if you open this link, bookmark it on your screen. Bookmark it on your computer, but just at a high level, highlighting what devices are you using, and then really breaking down what are family expectations. And it's interactive, so you can make any changes you want. I think this is a really helpful tool to share with families before the holidays. And it's also another opportunity to talk about conversations around media and tech use, which is always what we're recommending at Common Sense. How can we use everything that's going on as another entry point to talk with our kids and with our parents?
Tali, is this like I'm typing into it?
Yes.
I can just oh my gosh, this is so cool.
Yes.
I love this.
Yes. Yeah, it's awesome. And you can change, and I like that feature too, because you can change it as your kids get older, as they're ready for more, responsibility as well. So we will be looking at this in January. We will also be doing an activity looking at our own digital habits, which you can share with your families, but hopefully you'll leave with some tips and strategies for yourself. And we also have some new Celebrate community pages as well that I think will be great for you to also share with your families. And that will all be coming up. So
Tali, you always bring us you're always bringing us some cool materials to get us digitally ready. So I appreciate that for our families.
awesome. Thanks, Derry. And thanks, Latiqua, for dropping that in the chat. Great to see you all. And I will see you in 2023, which is crazy.
I know. All right. Thank you. I'm really stoked about those family tech planners. Just the ability to type in, I think that's just amazing. All right. So gonna kick it over, I think, to Christina, just to quickly talk about office hours and remind folks of the new format. Because it's new
Awesome.
this year.
Yeah, thanks, Laura. So as you know, office hours are now citywide office hours. And if you don't know, now you know. It's happening on the 4th of January. Please sign up on the EdTech portal. So the link is right there, diit.nyc/edtech portal. You do need to sign up in advance and you will get the calendar invite emailed to you and added to your calendar. It does take place on Teams. So please do join us on Wednesday, the next one happening on the 4th. 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Kicking it back to Laura.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm telling you, those office hours are fabulous. In fact, we have some of our BTDs on the call today. In fact, I kind of invited several of our DIIT folks because we have a phenomenal team. I mean, DIIT has a lot of both pedagogical folks, technical folks, and we all support each other. So it's a great opportunity to, get what you need, ask the experts. I quite enjoy it. And it's a great bunch, both from our side and also just the folks that we get coming in. All right, but before we get to some of our other stuff, we do have a little bit of news to share with you about one of our esteemed colleagues here at the IIT. So it is with immense pride, but also a pinch of bitterness that we are going to announce that our own Dr. Cristina Bacias is leaving DIIT and the DOE to join a fabulous tech startup company. For those of you that don't know, Cristina has been at the DOE for over a decade. And in her time, she's been able to showcase and highlight how technology can have a huge impact on student learning and outcomes. She's been honored with awards, several awards. She's just amazing. She's been celebrated for her visionary approach to 21st century education. And in addition to being highlighted for her great work, Cristina has shown time and time and again, she's just a wonderful friend and a fabulous thought leader. I apologize if I'm getting choked up. This is very hard. I can't believe we're having to do this. She's just absolutely fabulous, but she really is the type of colleague who brings her analytical brain and a passion for creating real change, all while using her own brand of fun. She's always ready to jump into a project and support the team. And it is no surprise that with all her hard work, she earned her doctorate during the pandemic. Whether in person or in our virtual spaces, she's constantly helping our community learn and grow. It is no wonder why we love her, and we will genuinely miss her as she heads toward her next endeavor. She is the ultimate cool girl who I know is going to keep on doing cool girl things. In our community, we all know firsthand the power of having a helping hand. She has been involved in so many projects and initiatives, from EdTech Visionaries to our infamous GEGS and tech meetups. The impact she's had on our community has been way too great to even try to enumerate today. This is just a very small slice of a very huge pie. But what we do know is that we are going to miss her greatly. And there are definitely going to be some very big shoes to fill, all right? But with that, I just want to say it's bittersweet to say goodbye, so this is not goodbye. Absolutely not for me. This is to get to you later, all right? So I want to say from the very bottom of my heart, congratulations to an amazing colleague, and advocate, innovator, and most importantly, my friends. Christine, I love you.
Oh my God, I love you. It's a good thing we're on Zoom, because if we were in person, there'd be a lot of tears.
Yay!
Also, these pictures, where'd you guys get
Yeah.
these from? It's hilarious. Thank you so
So,
much. This is so
I-
sweet.
Dig deep into the bowels of like Twitter and Facebook, and I may have stalked your life just a little bit to get these. It
This
was
is
it was
too
very
fun.
much like, wait, oh, that's a good photo. Oh, wait, that's a good one.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, this is amazing. I'm so happy this is recorded. I'll be like, can you see the tears? I love this Face Friday. I'm gonna miss the DOE so terribly, but I'm so excited for the next venture. And thank you just so much for just like, I don't know, just the highlights of all the pictures. It has been quite the journey. And especially during COVID as well. And I wouldn't have spent it any other way than with everyone in the Zoom room. So thank you, sending all the love. And I know this is not goodbye. I know I have like that year where I'm not going to be around for a little bit with the DOE, but I'll be back in some way. So.
Oh, you know you're gonna be back. We're gonna wait like a hot year because, like, those stupid conflicts of interest rules. We're gonna edit that out of the recording. We get it. But once that year passes, we're bringing you in, girl, because you're going somewhere fabulous. You're doing fabulous things, and that's what we do here. So thank you for being an amazing colleague. I cannot believe this is your last official Face Friday.
Me neither.
But but I see the chat, and you know what? So many congrats to you, girl. It's well earned and deserved.
Kisses. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right. So I know it's like weird to pull us back in, but we got it. We can't just like deviate from the Friday plan. You know how this goes. So we're nosy. We got to figure out who is here. Tell us. You should see a poll on your screen. Who is in this Zoom room? I know we got PCs in the house, but let us know if you're an FSC, an FLC. Oh, we got a school secretary. We got a few teachers. I love when we have some teachers. I see a principal. And if you're an other, go ahead and put in the chat what you do. Again, we're nosy. We just like to know who's here, but we welcome all of you. And if it's your first time, can you pop that into the chat too? We love a first timer.
Oh, we got a first timer. I want to welcome my colleague. She's new. She just started. She made a month. And Shantia is in the house today, marking 30 days at Face, part of our new team community partnership. So Shantia is here.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good morning. And I see we have
We also have
several
yeah.
first timers in the chat. Look at that, Derry. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness!
Time.
Welcome. Oh, I missed the next one. I wanted to shout out our new first timer. Oh, we have a ENL coordinator. Oh my gosh.
Love that. And this is honestly, this is the session to have an ENL
Shelly.
coordinator. Absolutely. This is perfect. Oh, and I see one of our colleagues, Peter's in the house. First time ELL coordinator, Spock extraordinaire.
Peter.
Absolutely. I'm super excited that you're here. And like I said, a ton of our DIIT folks are here. Hey, Jackie.
I gotta say, Jackie has the coolest background right now.
I'm loving that
there goes
background.
Cheryl.
All right, so I'm going to give us about 10 more seconds. If you haven't answered that poll just yet, go on ahead. We have one more to do. So here we go, and I will share the results that you can see. Like I said, we're overwhelmingly PCs, kind of knew that. You guys are awesome. But shout out to everyone here on the call, making time to learn and grow and level up, all right? So let me launch our next poll. How you feeling, right? How are you feeling? And remember, all feelings are valid, so it's okay to be perfectly kind of bogged down. I'm going to tell you right now, I am tired. It has been a very long week. I think this has been the week of like all of the celebrations and everything has been massively in person. And traveling all over to the city. It's like, oh, I'm in Brooklyn today. I'm in the Bronx. I'm in Manhattan. It's like, whoa, okay, doing all the boroughs. I haven't done Staten Island. I'm going to get out to you, Jackie, one of these days. But it's been a lot. And so like today I'm like, wow, I made it to Friday. Like, and right. It
Let me
happens.
tell you, I needed to be here. I needed this Friday. I needed the energy. So guys, just the vibe is amazing, and just looking at your background. But I agree with Jackie. I feel all of the above right now. So, and I'm excited. I mean, we have Microsoft here today. We love Microsoft and Tali. That was a special surprise.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, I just want to put it out there though, like this is a tough time just in general. Holidays can always be tough for us. I'm sure you've seen in the news, things are happening. I was a huge fan of Twitch myself, and I think it just brings to light, that we also have to take care of ourselves. And it's okay. It's okay to need help. It's okay if you're feeling like it's a bit much. Take care of you. Okay. No one else is going to do it the way you do it. All right. You have to take care of you. So make that time, particularly now. And we have resources both here at the DOE. We can put you in touch with things, but very, very important to take care of yourselves. And yes, Crystal, check on your friends. That's why this is part of the reason why we ask this question. It's not just a hokey, like, oh, how are you doing? No, ask the question and ask it with intentionality. And when someone tells you, like it's not going so great, well, what can I do to help you? All right. Do would you like, resources? Do you want me to connect you with something? Like we need to normalize it. All right. So I, don't want to bog us down, but very important that we understand this is why we do this. This is what this work is about. And not just for ourselves, but for the students that we support and for our families. It's tough for everybody all around. All right. So with that, I'm going to end this poll. And I see, yeah, the vibe is tired. Okay. I think it's been a long stretch, but we're almost there. We got one more week and then like a whole lot of break. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm all about like the food and the eating and the drinking and the eating and the drinking. It's just, I'm just going to indulge. I feel like I've earned it. All right. So,
Laura, and also in the chat, I think we lost, but in the chat, if anybody wants to share really quickly their holiday tradition as we continue with the schedule.
Absolutely. The chat is always open for anything folks want to share. Please utilize the chat. Please feel free to drop what you're thinking. And this is a safe space. This is also why community is so important. But do want to just briefly share our upcoming schedule. As you heard from Tali, we have Common Sense. I'm actually co-presenting with her, and it's a fabulous presentation. We've got some really great resources to share with families, and then also some practical tips for folks that are managing their school social media. I know that many parent coordinators kind of help take part in that. So this is going to be a great session. And then on February 17th, folks from the enterprise team, a few of which are on the call right now, are going to be sharing some information about some of our enterprise products. So just wanted to let you know what's in store. But without further ado, all right, it is time for us to learn. Super, super stoked. Like I said, we have Rachel here from Microsoft. I know Dan is also in the house and he supports us with Microsoft as well. And they are fabulous. And I'm just so excited. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and let us get into the fabulous learning.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Excited to be with you today. Can someone give me some feedback on how we're displaying here? Are you guys able to see? Do you also see?
It looks great on my end, Rachel. I think you're good.
Okay. All right, perfect. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'll give you a little introduction on Your trainer today, that's myself. I'm Rachel Berger. I'm a Disability and Accessibility Engagement Project Manager at Microsoft. I also wear another hat. I'm the director of a nonprofit here in Minneapolis called Decoding Dyslexia Minnesota. I'm an individual with dyslexia myself, and also the mother of 3 sons, 2 of which have their share of what we call learning differently in our household. So I'm going to walk through a PowerPoint, and we're also going to demonstrate within the apps today. I'll call out what I'm doing so that it doesn't seem like it's a magic show or it's not confusing to you. And I'm not sure how we moderate the questions, but I will pause between our translator and before I move into Immersive Reader and our writing tool. So I'll pause at certain times, and if our moderators want to have questions fed to me in that manner, I can answer questions. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started. So our learning objectives today are to personalize user experience in Office 365 with our accessibility features. We're going to demonstrate these tools and apps so that you guys can help assist in creating accessible content for your learners and help to personalize their experience in a way that works best for them. And we're also going to talk about how personalizing does improve student outcomes. All right, so when it comes to empowering all students to be independent learners by simplifying and personalizing the learning experience, it's more than just adapting work for students. It's about creating an experience for themselves that's personalized to meet their specific needs so that they can engage in their community and be part of that learning community. And whether they're in kindergarten, navigating middle school, or in high school, students have the ability to create an independent experience that helps them, again, connect and engage with that community. And that's something that's really important to us here at Microsoft. We're going to go ahead and go right into talking about the top application we have for you today, and that's Translator, and really just kind of supporting communication through a couple of different tools such as Translator, live PowerPoint with captions, and if we have time, PowerPoint Coach. So we want to be able to support live multiple conversations and multilingual conversations with captioning, and through that we use our translator device. I'm going to give you a couple of scenarios, such as, you know, a school administrator, maybe back to school night, or a parent school night of some sort. And in this situation, when utilizing Translator, we can use the app to communicate with parents, even though we have multiple different languages represented. So for example, in this slide, there are 9 different languages that are being represented in this one gathering, and they're using Translator to be able to enable that everyone can participate in the conversation. In this next example, we've got utilizing the Translator app to present to students in China, where we've got a presenter who speaks in English, and then the students are using that app and optimizing their experience through that app on their phone. And then another scenario here, you could use Translator for a one-on-one meeting between maybe an educator or support person and a parent as well. And then lastly, I've found that Translator can be really helpful in the classroom when it comes to students who are deaf, hard of hearing, or maybe in particular a student who has a language-based learning disability like dyslexia and has struggles processing language at the same speed as everyone else. So it really does help in a lot of different scenarios, and it's a really fabulous tool. So when it comes to multilingual conversations, Microsoft Translator has the ability for us to go ahead and start a conversation, share that conversation with others, and they can join. And then when you speak your language and communicate with others, others are able to participate in that experience together. So using this multi-device conversation feature for parents and teachers in a conference really helps as well. So teachers and schools can use it, like I had shown in the slide previously. You can use it for a one-on-one meeting. You can use it for a group setting, like an orientation or an assembly. There are really a lot of different uses for this application. Excuse me. All right, and we've got a lot of different features within this app as well. So you've got the conversations, you've got voice, you have the ability to use the app with text and utilize your camera in a way that you can translate text in a photo. And then again, obviously we can choose a multitude of languages with this device. So Translator is an app that you can download and utilize, and we have the link here in our slide, translator.microsoft.com. I believe that we have someone also popping links into the chat for you while we're talking. And so what you would do utilizing the translator on your phone is get the translator app, and you'd want to click the conversation tab. And I believe you guys have access to my slide deck as well here today, so that once we're done with our presentation, you have the ability to go back and learn or reteach yourselves as well. So you are going to use the translator, your login with a school or work account when you're using translator. And then, as you can see on the slide here, you're clicking Start Conversation and set your presenter or attendee settings here. If you were presenting to a room, like let's say you're the educator or the administrator that's holding a meeting and you want individuals to use translator, that's where you let people join with a QR code so that multiple people can join at a time. Then we have the step-by-step for educators to be able to utilize translator. And we also have a step-by-step for parents as well. There are, like I said, there's a lot of different scenarios where you'll find this translator app to be really helpful to conversations. I know one scenario for myself was I went to, we're talking about the holidays and stress here earlier before our training started today. And I went to my local mall and wanted to have a massage, but I didn't speak the language of the individuals at the place I was at. And so I was able to take out translator and select the language. And it was really helpful to be able to explain, you know, hey, it's my neck that really hurts because I sit at a desk all day. So there are a lot of scenarios that are really helpful in utilizing this. And it's not just in education, but in daily living as well. So I would encourage you, as you're using this application, to think of a multitude of scenarios where it might come in handy for you or for the parents and students that you work with. All right, so a couple of tips for you, using the microphone relatively close, and don't change languages while you're using it. Make sure to use one language while you're using it and opening it up. And then you can utilize, as I said, a multitude of different languages for this app in particular. But then we also have set up parent-teacher conference letters. So when we're talking about working with families that have other languages that are their native language and enabling more effective communication, Microsoft has put together some parent-teacher conference letters that you could utilize in a multitude of different languages. All right, I know we're moving along relatively quickly. As I mentioned, there's links that are being put in our conversation on Zoom, and then also you'll have access to my slide deck, which has a lot of links as well. So again, you could use Translator as a mobile app or on a desktop browser. All right, the next thing I would like to show you is actually within PowerPoint. And so this is continuing along our learning on how to use different communication tools when we are navigating different languages and different abilities. Like I said, is sometimes it's not just a language barrier. Oh, sorry, was there a question? Okay, so sometimes it's not just a language barrier. It can be due to, as I mentioned before, maybe it is processing language due to auditory processing disorder, slow processing, maybe it's fatigue or an individual who has ADHD or dyslexia. So utilizing captions and or translations can be really helpful in a multitude of settings. So I want to show you how I use PowerPoint Live. And this is something that you can use within your classrooms and when you're working with parents and students as well to be able to utilize captions. So PowerPoint Live is the online application. So when we're using Windows devices, you have desktop applications and online applications. And in the online PowerPoint, you can go under the show tab, the slideshow tab. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to escape out of our PowerPoint and I'm going to go directly into the app so I can show you how this works. So let's, I don't, as someone who works for Microsoft, I don't always use Zoom, and I realize that I may have just changed my screen and you may not be looking at the same screen. Would someone give me a heads up if we're looking at PowerPoint Live?
We're looking at PowerPoint, but I just see all your slides on your screen.
Okay, so I'm gonna reshare for that. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, so we're in the online version of PowerPoint here, and all of you have access to PowerPoint online, as well as likely the desktop with your Office 365 account. So when I was talking about utilizing live captions in PowerPoint, again, we're in the live version, and we're going to go over here to slideshow. Excuse me. So under the slideshow tab, I could click on Present Live. This is where I get a QR code that enables individuals to join with a iPhone, Android, or their personal device. So they can use the link or the QR code. And from there, they're able to select a language that they'd like to utilize or that works best for them. I'm just going to escape out of that right now so that it doesn't continue while I'm talking. So they could select a language, up to 75 different languages. While they're using their device, I'm able to go ahead and present and use my PowerPoint, and that's optimized on their personal device. They could actually send me live reactions like an emoji or a question mark, or navigate the slides on their own. They also kind of get a transcript. So super awesome to be able to utilize PowerPoint Live as one more communication tool. And the other tool we have built into PowerPoint, and this is in both the desktop version and in the online version, we can use subtitling. So you'll see here under slideshow, I've got subtitles, and I could go ahead and click to select where I would like to place my subtitles. So in this case, knowing how we're displaying on Zoom, I think the top would be best. And then I could also select my spoken language. So I'm speaking from English. That's the language I'm selecting. We can select then the subtitle language. So here I could change, again, this is up to like 75 different languages you have the ability to choose from. And let's go ahead and select Spanish. So when I enable this and go ahead and click on, present from the beginning, then our subtitles pop up. In this case, right now, let's go ahead and see. Let's give you a demo here. Let's subtitle settings. One second here. If we can get subtitle settings. My session is now live. I think I apologize. We don't want to resume our. Well, I have my live session mode set up right now. And so right now, that's what we're doing. At any rate, what you'd want to do with the subtitle. So right now we're still in live presentation mode, but with the subtitles, when you go ahead and select your language and your subtitle settings of where you want to place that and go ahead and present, then our device listens to us and uses the AI built in, similar to what we have in dictation, and it starts to stream captions, live captions, which I am assuming that a lot of you are familiar with the trainings you've had from Microsoft at this point. All right, we're going to dip back into PowerPoint momentarily and continue on with the communication tools. And my screen does show me that it's sharing. So I'm assuming I was able to just toggle here and that we're effectively displaying, going back into PowerPoint. For me, there is a lot that displays on my screen when we're in Zoom, and that makes it kind of complicated to shift things around. So, okay, we should be looking at PowerPoint again. And so again, just to recap the live PowerPoint, again, this is in the deck and you're able to go in, select present live, get a QR code and a join link, and people can optimize the experience over any type of device they're using, whether that's iPhone, Android, or their personal device. So we're going to head into Immersive Reader next. And because we're shifting from communication tools to tools that help us with literacy, I'm wondering if anyone has any questions and whether they've been placed in the chat or how we're going to do questions today with this session.
Rachel, I just wanted to flag, I don't think that the new screen is sharing. We still see early solar systems explorations.
Okay, so it looks like every time I do something, I've got to stop share and then reshare. I wonder why that is. Usually you're, okay, so we should now be looking at our Immersive Reader slide, and this is where I'm going to stop and take any questions before we move into Immersive Reader. How are you guys desiring for us to do questions? Are they in the chat?
So I didn't see a whole lot of questions for you so far. I think there is one question about iPhones, but I think that's more for our team to answer. But if anyone wants right now you can use your voice to ask any questions about what you've seen with the translator tools before we switch into Immersive Reader. We can do that as well. And you're also free to pop those questions into the chat.
Right, and remind me what time when's our hard stop today?
So we typically stop our sessions around 11:15, so that we can then share attendance and whatnot, but you could always stop a little sooner and give Q&A time, up to you.
Okay, so I was gonna say, we also have, maybe you have the ability to poll the group. We also have the ability to take a look at something called Presenter Coach, which is built into PowerPoint. That is also a super fun tool for students. And I
do see some questions coming in.
Okay, let's stick with that then.
Yeah, so Stephen wants to know, does the screen show the translation?
On the user screen, yes.
And I think this one's easy. Susan wants to know, can we use Translator for a virtual meeting? That's an absolute yes. And let's see, is there a way to translate meetings with Translator? So I guess I'm assuming to use this with, I guess, Teams. Is it? I'm not sure, Marilyn.
So Teams has captions built in. So if you're in a Teams meeting, captions are built in. If you know, in Zoom you have a ellipsis next to your name, the 3 dots. So in Teams, you'll have 3 dots next to your name, and then you can have captions and select the language.
Beautiful. And then Miss Rodriguez is actually asking a wonderful question, because we know that we often support our families being able to access this. So are there any translated parent-centered flyers around how to use these translation kind of supports on their own device? Because, you know, we are asking families to kind of pull up a device and use this. So is there a quick and easy tip sheet or something we can share for them?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different things. So within the slide deck here, maybe we'll just back up a couple slides here. We have within the slide deck, I had a parent, how the parents utilize Translator. Sorry, I'm not good at talking and looking at the same time, apparently. So it's right, step by step for parents. And there's the kind of walkthrough for parents in that manner. I know you ask for a flyer. I don't know of a printout type flyer, but we do have links as well as how to do it. And so, and the other thing that I would say, built into the links that were dropped into the chat earlier as a resource, one of the things we have at Microsoft is called, and just going to pop up this parent slide again for you because I know that you had asked that. So in the links, one of the things we have is called interactive demos. Those are phenomenal. I can't say enough about them. The interactive demo on communication will walk through Translator. And what it is it's a click-through guide that you take, you know, in your own home at your own pace, and the mouse asks you to click on the particular thing. So you're learning as you're going. So there's a couple of different things here. We tend to be a paperless organization. So when I say, unfortunately, there isn't a flyer that I know of, it's because we have a lot of links and that bring people to a website or otherwise.
Links are great too.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I definitely, I hear you. And I know that a lot of our tech partners, you know, everything's kind of web-based. That's fine. I think it's just, you know, again, when a family comes in, I think, and being able to say, here, you can read this, or you can just watch this video. Our families definitely love that, but they need a little support, you know?
Yeah, I agree. You know, one of the fun things that my kids are always showing me is when I'm learning something new, and if I don't have exactly what I need, my kids, they'll say, just go YouTube it, Mom. And they're right. Microsoft has a lot of great videos on any of our applications in YouTube as well. So there's always that piece too.
Absolutely. And I think our last little bit, because I've seen this now twice at least, if we could do just a quick demo of how to utilize, say, Translator with Zoom. I think Michaela did it for us last year, but just to show, you know, we're here in Zoom right now. If I turn on Translator, you know, because this is something that many of our parent coordinators do. They're hosting their PTA meetings on Zoom, and they would like to incorporate Translator into that meeting.
Yes, very good question. I'm not sure that I have the capability to do that today. I didn't put it on this device that I'm using.
Okay.
So
I think we do
sorry,
have, no, but we do have videos that show that feature. So I think we'll make sure, I know you sent over some links. We'll make sure that we add that to the list of resources.
Yeah, sorry about that. truth be told, I'm using a brand new device because mine conked out yesterday. So like,
Listen, that's
um,
always how it works.
yes, I was like,
Murphy's Law.
right before I'm doing something. So I have all kinds of other things, but I didn't think of actually getting that app on right.
And we do have, I think, one more thing before we go. We have one hand raised, so maybe we'll get to
Great.
that hand raised.
Okay,
Ms.
let's do
Rivera?
that.
Hi, yes, I just wanted to share about my personal experience with Microsoft Translator, and it was a good one. We had a serious situation that occurred at the school, but the parent, it's a low incident language at our school, so we had no one. It was Vietnamese, and it was not. There was no time to use the DOE lingual, our outside contractors. And my PC and I were like, wait a minute, Microsoft Translator. We went to that great Friday Yay, that they had last year, I think, and we utilized it with the parent. The parent brought in her own translator. However, as we know, especially at the school, sometimes perhaps the people that they bring in, we want to make sure that the message we're stating is being translated properly to the parent. I'm not saying that there was anything, but we just wanted to assure. So once he spoke and he translated what my principal was saying, I was there also kind of showing the mom and the translator, and they loved it. When I say that they felt that the school community was supporting them, that they couldn't even believe that we're using an app. I mean, it was just a wonderful bonding, and it was a pivotal moment in the trajectory of this family's relationship with the school. So I just wanted to share that. And it worked perfect. The app worked perfectly because sometimes, especially in New York City schools, these are old buildings. You have to sometimes walk in a corner to get internet service, or it's a huge campus school we're on. But it worked perfectly, and I just wanted to share that. And I also made sure that my principal, well, I didn't make sure, I mean, he's the principal, but I did mention him before we went in to use, based on another Friday that we had, even though it's writing for translation, but even speaking for translation, not using like these huge DOE terms, just cutting to the chase in very small words. And it worked great. So I want to thank everyone.
I'm so glad you shared that. Thank you for telling us. That's a perfect example of how you can break down barriers with tools like Translator and, provide the support that's needed. So thanks for sharing. That's amazing. Okay, so again, some slides here on how to start and step-by-step for parents and educators. These are available to you in the slide deck link that you've received. We're going to go ahead and talk about Immersive Reader. And I'm new to your group, so I'm not familiar with how many of you know about Immersive Reader or how well you've used it. So we're just going to assume that we're not all starting at the same level today. And perhaps this will be a refresher for a couple of you. So Immersive Reader is a tool that embeds text reading and cognition capabilities on top of an existing web page application using an iframe. It's a cognitive service designed with the latest education research that creates inclusive learning environment designed to increase comprehension, attention, confidence, and I would also say increase engagement in that classroom and personalize learning. So it's something that's free to educators and students. It's built into all Office 365 products. And I'm going to go ahead and escape out of our PowerPoint and give you a demonstration on a couple of different places you're going to find the tool and how to utilize it. So we're going to start in, let's see, I'm looking at our timing. Was going to start in OneNote, but I think what I'm going to do is go to Edge instead. And got to remember, I got to reshare with this functionality today. Why we have to do that, I'm not sure, because All right, so I'm in Edge browser. Chances are you guys use Edge browser. It's the Chromium edition. And so again, I had been on PowerPoint Live, but I'm going to go into a web page that I use with educators and students commonly. And it's a web page called Smithsonian. So this used to be called Tween Tribune. They had a lot of great K-12 content for students on a multitude of topics. Really loved this website when it came to educational topics. And so here, again, I'm using Edge browser. And let's say that perhaps I'm fatiguing. Maybe I've got low vision. Maybe it's dyslexia. Or perhaps I'd like to use Immersive Reader for any number of reasons. It's just there and it enables everyone to have access. So over here in the browser bar, we can click on the Immersive Reader symbol. It's a book with a speaker in the middle of it. So what that does is it overlays and gives us what's called a reading view. So all of our ads are wiped out. Again, I'm in a mainstream internet search here and on a web page, and I can go ahead and enable my read aloud. I just remembered something about Zoom. I have to click on a share sound button, don't I?
Yes. Yes. This is why I don't DJ for the group, because I always mess up the audio. Oh my gosh, I fight with my audio all the time.
Right. I did it. Sorry. Here we go. Here's the sound.
Bars. The candies were included in rations because they stayed fresh for a long time.
Okay, so you can hear our neural
Tootsie Rolls contain small
text-to-speech
amounts of cocoa and also an ingredient.
speaking voice. Over here to the right, we've got our voice options. So this enables us to adjust the speed. And I would like to say that when you go from consuming content visually to then auditorily and doing what we in my community call ear reading, that speed is important because some people can comprehend at a really high rate of speed, while others may need to slow that down quite a bit. And so that's the first personalization tool that's there and available for users to use so that they can personalize how they're consuming content. Here you can choose a voice as well. You got a lot of different voice options. And then if we arrow out of that, we can go into things like our text preferences. This would enable us to adjust that text size. We have spacing built in here, so we can adjust our text spacing. Commonly, publishers put out content where the words are pretty closely kerned together. That doesn't work for everybody. In fact, my 16-year-old has shared with me that when he uses the spacing, he says, my brain slows down. And I was like, well, what do you mean by that? He said, when I don't use the spacing, I just plow through everything I've read and I forget what I read by the time I get to the end of the page. So he's learning how, again, he can personalize to make his environment work best for him, which is really amazing. So we've got text, your font choices, your column width. You've even got background colors here, and you can choose from any number of those, including a few more. And then over here in the middle, we've got our grammar tools. So grammar tools enable us to break words into syllables, all the while our device is reading aloud. Kind of looks like it didn't break into syllables here. We can also highlight parts of speech, so nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs, and show the labels above. And for whatever reason today, it doesn't look like that's working for me at the moment. I'm going to keep going with it. We can also choose the drop down over here and select the color that we're highlighting in so that it doesn't conflict with the background color, or maybe an educator has a reason they want the students to highlight the nouns in purple and the verbs in red. So again, these are our grammar options. And then under our last icon here, the reading preferences, these are some of my absolute favorite. So we can go from looking at the full page at one time to maybe one line, 3 lines, or just 5 lines at a time. So this really helpful for a multitude of situations. It could be a student or an individual with focus and attention issues. It could be someone who is an emerging reader and still learning to read and maybe doesn't want the distractibility of the full page, or even someone who's you know, a non-native speaker and wants to focus on just a couple lines at a time so that they can really focus on what they're doing. The next feature is the picture dictionary. So picture dictionary is something that we've done in conjunction with our partner Boardmaker. And if we, so typically when we use picture dictionary, we would hover over a word and we get a photograph that pops up. I'm going to switch over to Word. I'm not entirely sure why in the internet today things are not quite syncing up for me, but they're definitely not. So typically I'd hover over a word and I'd get a photograph that would pop up. We'll check that one out when I move into one of our other apps. We also have Translator. Let's see if this works for me at the moment. And so I can choose from up to 75 different languages. Here, I'm just going to go ahead and select Spanish, and I could translate the entire page. So this one's working for me today. So this is great. Again, I'm in a mainstream internet, you know, a web page here, and I've just translated the entire page to Spanish so that I have the easier ability to be able to read the text. And I could just simply read it in the translated version if I want, or I could go ahead and utilize my read aloud.
Los Tootsie Rolls eran barras energéticas de la Segunda Guerra Mundial. Los dulces se incluyeron en las raciones porque se...
Okay, so you hear that we have this lovely text-to-speech speaking voice that translates really well. And I really just kind of want to go back to that picture dictionary and see if anything will work here. Aha, there we go. Here's a picture. So picture dictionary is done in conjunction with Boardmaker. We can hover over a word and get a photograph that pops up to help us comprehend or create meaning. And I think this is really amazing because, again, we're in the internet and I'm just hovering over a word in the internet and getting a photograph to pop up here. So really amazing tool. So that's just Immersive Reader in our Edge browser. We have Immersive Reader built into a lot of different places, and I'm just going to show you one more really quickly because I'm in Edge. I'm going to tab over to Word Online and just show you that Immersive Reader exists in Word as well. And when I'm utilizing Word, Microsoft Word, and Microsoft OneNote, what you'll notice is that Immersive Reader is accessed by going to the View tab and then clicking on Immersive Reader. So this document is not typically something I would use Immersive Reader for. I'd use this for our writing tools, but here you get the idea. Again, I've got the our text preferences, our grammar options, and let's go ahead and show you that the syllabilification works, our parts of speech work, showing labels works well. And then we also have those reading preferences, including picture dictionary. So again, this is Immersive Reader. We just demonstrated a Immersive Reader in Edge browser and Word Online. It's built into both the desktop versions of Word and the online version, as well as the desktop and online of OneNote. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop back into PowerPoint and show you a couple of other things with Immersive Reader. All right. So, okay, let's move thing out of my way. All right. Immersive Reader is built into a lot of different EdTech apps and publisher apps as a cognitive service. This is not an exhaustive list. In fact, we're adding more all the time. So, though, just wanted to show you because chances are the students and families that you work with use some of these apps. And so what they'll find is that they're hovering around the screen, they'll see the little book with the speaker icon on the screen, and they can just access Immersive Reader. As I mentioned, the Immersive Reader is built into a multitude of places in Office 365. And this is what we affectionately call at Microsoft our periodic chart of Microsoft Learning Tools availability. So this tells you the read aloud and the highlighting, the font sizing, the syllables, parts of speech, all those little features that we were talking about. How does it work across which Office 365 apps? So again, we have OneNote, we have Word, online and desktop. We've got Edge browser. Immersive Reader is also built into Microsoft Teams and into PowerPoint. So, yep, that's right, PowerPoint. So if you were to right click on a PowerPoint slide, just right clicking, you'd have the option to select Immersive Reader. So it is in a multitude of places. And within the slide deck, what I'm going to do is just kind of show you that in the slide deck here, I have photos that show you where it is. And how in the different features. So that this is built in for you as a resource today. All right, we've got just a couple more minutes, and one of the things that I wanted to show you, in addition to Immersive Reader and Translator, was the writing tools that we have available. So oftentimes students and families, if they're needing help with communication tools, writing and reading are kind of hand in hand. And so I want to go into talking about writing, and especially because it's something that's near and dear to my heart as my family navigates dyslexia within educational environments, and it is such a common need. So we're going to go ahead and jump into writing, and then I'll have a little bit of time at the end for questions. So here I am I'm in PowerPoint, but we'll part from it in just a couple of minutes. We're looking at a photograph of some students that were asked to do a one-page writing assignment. They don't look too thrilled to do the writing assignment. And these kids are members of a school that focuses on dyslexia. So Headmaster Jan Lusty says that pupils pretty much hate writing, but that Microsoft Learning Tools transformed that. And so I'm going to show you an example. This is an example of writing. On my left, there's a handwritten example from a student, very hard to read. This is my son's work when he was in 7th grade. So he's dyslexic, he's dysgraphic, he also has dyscalculia, which is the math side. Going to school and navigating education daily is a struggle for him, or was at the time. So this example of the manual task of writing took him 50 minutes of class time. While on the right, when I gave him the tools built into Word to enable him to text or speak to text, this took him 12 minutes, start to finish, including editing. And chances are many of you work with students that produce this type of work that my son had. And a lot of time educators do accommodations such as scribing. So they know that when you sit down with a student who struggles with writing like this, that student can paint a beautiful picture with words when asked to do so. But at the same rate, what the desire here was to be able to give my son the ability to personalize it in a way that worked best for him, so that he could gain in his confidence and independence. And that is exactly what we did. So I'm going to escape out and show you where these tools exist in Microsoft Word. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Well, you know what? I will go into Word Edge through Edge. Right, this is what we're going to do. All right, so I have a Word document here And I'm in Edge browser using the online version of Word here. There's both the online and the desktop. And so I've just got this sample document here to be able to demonstrate how my son really quickly and effectively was able to utilize tools to help with writing. So I'm going to go ahead and move my cursor and increase my font size here a little bit. Let's bring that up so you'll be able to see it. So over here, I'm under the Home tab, all the way over to the right. Built in is dictation. So if I go ahead and click on dictation, I'm a user of dictation software. New line. I've been a user of dictation software for over a decade, until Word came out with the tools that we're demonstrating today. I hadn't effectively found something that could remove the barriers I was experiencing when writing. Oh, you'll notice that it said try saying pause dictation. So it gives you suggestions as well. In addition to me just turning off dictation, it's showing me that I could just say pause instead of having to turn it off. So you heard how really quickly and easily I was able to dictate this sentence. And all the while I was doing that, our dictation tool was, and editing tool, they work together, was punctuating for me automatically and correcting anything. So it was really quick, really easy. This is exactly what my son did. I'm going to erase that quickly, and I'm going to go into our settings. So we have dictation selected, and here we can look at our settings. This is where I'd set my spoken language. So if you're speaking in Chinese or French or Spanish or, any number of languages, you can go ahead and set that. You can also enable auto punctuation, which you see is on. I can filter sensitive phrases. So that could be things like profanity, informal language, overused expressions, wordiness, redundancy, all kinds of great things it'll filter. But then in addition to just simply being able to dictate, what was helping my son to be able to do this is he would dictate and then go to the review tab, and under the review tab, we can have our text read aloud, or we could use Immersive Reader to have it read back to us. So again, you'll toggle between dictation and then reading aloud to make sure that, where did that go? Oh, I guess I have to use, when I'm in the online version, I just have to use the Immersive Reader, not read aloud. So toggling between dictating and reading aloud. And then in addition to that, again, under our Home tab, all the way over to the right near dictation is Editor. So this is a phenomenal tool that enables the student to independently be able to correct their work. So you'll see here, I've got an editor score of 34% for my writing. Not too good, but I can go ahead and utilize the editing tool to see where are my errors and correct those. So if I was to go into spelling here, it's going to pull up the first spelling error, and it's going to give me a drop-down list of potential spellings. You'll notice under these 3 dots here, if I'm fatiguing at this point, I could have this read aloud to me. So I don't have to read it all myself, which is really amazing. I can also ignore if none of these are correct, and just kind of automatically progresses you to the next misspelled word. I could go ahead and take a look at my grammar. And when we're looking at grammar, it gives us the what it should be. The selection, again, I could have it read aloud. I could ignore it. And I can get a learning tip, which is really amazing. So a lot of this stuff is designed to not only just help the student personalize and create independence, but also learn from these things as well. Okay, so those are the things that I wanted to show you today, and I'm going to go back into our PowerPoint for some resources, just to kind
Rachel?
of point out, and then we'll take questions. Yes.
Really quickly before you transition, since you're already in here, there was a question about like how you add things like periods. And I feel like when I was listening to you, I know that it kind of adds it for you, but is there a way to, I guess, say like period or new sentence? I feel like I heard you give it a command. So
You can do that. It does take commands. Like I had said new line, and I actually don't think it, let's go ahead and check it out. Dictating in Microsoft Word. New line. There we go. Now we've got a new line. Right now we're auto punctuating, and that's because I set it in the settings. If I didn't want to auto punctuate and I wanted to just add a period on my own, I would turn off the auto punctuation. So for your question, you were asking about, you know, can you do that on your own, which is probably really important for students. But just turn off auto punctuation if you want the students to be able to punctuate on their own. But you can give a lot of commands like stop, new line, pause dictation, start dictation. There are a whole host of commands you can give it. I'm just not used to using that myself, so I don't do it.
no, but I think it's great that we've got options. So that
Yes.
and you're welcome, Yusuf. That was his question, but I think that that's absolutely it's a great feature to know that you can have the ability to like, you know, have the auto do it for you, but also if you want to take it on yourself. There was also some questions about translation again.
Okay. You know what I want to show quickly, as long as we're on translation, but we're in Microsoft Word. I'm not sure if you know this, but we have a translator. We're under the review tab and we have translate. And again, we're talking, you know, today we've been centered on translation and improving communication when there are different languages represented. So a lot of times, especially in my area, I think about translation as it applies to educators and parents in improving that communication line, especially when we have kids that are on IEPs or 504s. So here, if you've got a document from an educator, well, maybe it's a parent-teacher conference meeting, maybe it's an evaluation a students had, or new accommodations for their IEP, you can simply go under the review tab and translate the document. So just like editor, I get a little pane that pops up over here. I can select a drop down in language and then choose to translate just a paragraph or the entire page. So I know you had another question, but I wanted to show you guys that quick. I thought this would be a really useful tool. Again, it's review tab and translator.
That is so awesome. And then one more question. I know we're jumping around, but since again we're here,
okay, that's fine.
Are there dictation commands listed somewhere? So I guess if you're using that kind of command feature, you know, is there a list that folks could reference? So they're not just telling it like, do the dishes, because that's what I would tell it.
Right, and then it's not going to do the dishes, sadly. I don't know of one. Let me see if I can find that and then share it back with you. I'm sure there is. It's just that I likely probably don't, you know, it's just, I haven't been asked that. So I'll check into that and see if I can get you a resource on that.
Awesome. Thank you. I think we're back in it. Yeah. I'm sure. I'm sure
there would have to be
the questions so far. So if you wanted to show us any, I think you were saying you wanted to just quickly show one more resource or get back into your
just
slide deck.
Yeah, I want to show a few resources for you. There's a bunch of resources at the end of the slide. And I know that you guys are going to have a training. I don't know if I'm like ready for you guys to cut me off, but I know you're going to have a training in January on reading progress. And I wanted to end with a quick video on what that is, so you guys could kind of get excited for that. So what I'm going to do is, what did I just mess up here? Okay. Zoom, not all of us are used to Zoom. All right, so these are the resources. They're at the end of the slide deck. So we've got product guide, you got translator in Edge browser, immersive reader. So a lot of resources. And I know there were a bunch of resources also dropped into the chat earlier. But if we have time, I would like to end with the video on what reading progress is so that you guys can kind of get excited about that. Or you can just simply look at it in the deck too, if we're out of time.
Just out of curiosity, how long is the video?
It is 3 minutes. So it's something that can be looked at and accessed in the deck as well. So
Okay, so
by all means.
I think I'm gonna, because we are up on time, so
Yep.
I'm going to just direct folks to the chat, because I know some folks have to drop off, and that is absolutely okay. We understand. There's
Yep.
always things happening at the school level. I think someone had to go to cover lunch duty. We understand, we get it, so no worries. But I do want folks to, if you have a moment before you leave, please fill out our attendance link. It is in the chat, and I'll actually, hold on here, I'll share my screen so that folks can see. So the link is in the chat. This is our attendance. You fill out all this good stuff. And then our session today, you're going to scroll down to effective digital learning tools with Microsoft. So that is today's session. Like I said, it's in the chat. Do make sure you fill that out so that you get credit. We'll send out a follow-up email. So for my first timers here who are like, wait, what's happening? All you're doing is filling out this Google form. This counts as your attendance here. You'll then get a follow-up email with our evaluation information, and then that also will then lead you to your CTLE, because I know some folks need that CTLE credit. But we have a few minutes still, so if you have any questions, feel free to pop those into the chat. We're here for, unofficially until 11:30. It's fine if folks need a little more support, or if you're have one more question, feel free to throw that in the chat. Come on to your mic with your voice. Up to you, whatever makes you feel comfortable. But we want you to feel really good about being able to utilize these tools that you've learned about today and seen in action. I know sometimes it's a little tricky, and as you've seen, and it is perfectly okay. This is our transparent facilitation. Sometimes our tools don't play nicely together. I get around this by just kind of like, all right, let me press this button, let me do this. But as you can see, sometimes using Zoom with, say, Microsoft Translator, it might just take an extra button. You might have to go, wait, stop share, reshare. It's okay. That's part of that perseverance that we have as folks doing this work, particularly with technology. It sometimes feels like you're banging your head against the wall. It's okay. Power through, because typically we can find a solution that will work. And remember, this is all about providing our families and our students and our community with the resources that they need, even if it means we have to put in just a pinch, a little more effort, right? We do the good work. So I just want to remind folks, have that perseverance. This is part of leveling up here in our community. So I'm double checking the chat. Like I said, I want to make sure everyone feels super supported right now. If you have any questions around Microsoft Translator, around anything you've seen or learned today, feel free to utilize the chat. And if you are dropping off, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope that you have the most fabulous rest of your day and into the weekend. And look, we got one more week before we can all take a much deserved break, rest, recharge our batteries, and come back to have an amazing 2023. Oh, I have to share one more resource. I am sorry, I apologize. I'm going to drop this into our chat, coming to us hot and fresh from our IET and migration team. So if you are someone that needs some information about what our LMS adoption is, this is for schools that are looking to kind of transfer over their domain information. We know some folks are not on our central domain. You've kind of been the holdout. book a session with our fabulous team. I happen to support them more on the administrative side, but they're fabulous and they can explain to you what is involved. It is absolutely amazing. And this is all in an effort to actually make a lot of the enterprise technology products talk better together and be managed much more easily. When you let Central kind of manage it, I know folks get nervous, but like Central really has your best interest at heart and their tools are more robust. So all the more reason, get on the Central bandwagon. All right. So pass that information along to your school. It is in the chat. That's diit.nyc/one account for all bookings. And someone on our team, our fabulous team, can explain what all of this means and how your school can benefit. All right. But with that, folks, like I said, if you are dropping off, I hope you have the most amazing rest of your day, an amazing break. Thank you to our fabulous community. Thank you again to Christina for everything, not just today's session, but like for starting this with us. You've been here since the very, very beginning when we roped you in, and I can't even believe that you're not going to be at the January one, but you'll be with us in spirit. Like you're not going anywhere.
Definitely in spirit. I'll be thinking of y'all that day. You'll know I'll be there.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Thanks,
So
everybody.
folks, absolutely have a wonderful holiday and stay safe. All right. Enjoy, but take care of yourselves. Remember, this is a really, really stressful time. All the things are happening. Holidays are just stressful in general. You heard Derry say at the beginning, she's like, oh my God, I have this thing. Look, take a breath. Okay. You're going to get through it. And just, I didn't say this before, but truthfully, even if you don't get any gifts, that's not what this is about, right? So like push that out to the side. It's not about that. Again, you see what's going on in the world. You see things happening, out in Ukraine and just, even here with all of our issues and shootings and, it's a lot. So just make time to connect with someone. That's what the season is about. It's not about presents, not about having to like buy the perfect thing. It's about just getting together with the ones you love and care about and telling them you love them and care about them. So with that, go out and tell someone how much they mean to you. Enjoy the rest of your day. And we will see you in 2023. All right. For a fabulous
I'm sorry,
session.
what is the name of the session? We write it down. I don't know the name. Is there immersive reader or what is the name of?
It's
effective digital learning tool. Okay, great. Thank you so much.
No problem. No problem. I know we have a long list of classes. It's because we do all this PD, but this is the one we're doing, folks. Effective digital learning tools with Microsoft. And again, thank you all. Oh, we got the music. Oh, thank God. You already know I'm not the DJ. I don't know what we're gonna do with Christina now gone. This is not a good sign.
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Hi, Cheryl.
Yeehaw.
Feliz Navidad. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas.
I wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart.
D29.
I want to wish you a Merry Christmas
Hey,
from the
Cheryl.
bottom
Hey,
of my
Christine.
heart.
I'm sorry to Bapin, but I want every piece